All right, folks. Yesterday, after Republicans blocked a bill that would expel George Santos, that lying fool went on the steps of the Capitol, held a news conference, and then he was followed by that other liar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Congressman Jamaal Bowman. Let's just say he had a few words for both of those idiots on the steps there, where Greene, she was just so offended that she held a news conference today, and, just the white tears were flowing.
Had to have so much security. There was not enough. I was swarmed. It's all on video. Everyone can see this. But I will tell you what's on video is Jamaal Bowman shouting at the top of his lungs, cursing, calling me a calling me a white supremacist, which I take great offense to. That is like calling a person of color the N-word, which should never happen. Calling me a white supremacist is equal to that, and that is wrong. Jamaal Bowman was down there cursing at me, telling me to get the F out of there, and he was leading the mob right outside the vehicle I was sitting in. We have this all on video. And then on the Capitol steps yesterday, he was the one that approached me. Even CNN reported that. Yelling, shouting, raising his voice. He has aggressive, his physical mannerisms are aggressive. And he just recently shoved Thomas Massey just outside the House chamber. I think there's a lot of concern about Jamaal Bowman. So, and I am concerned about it. I feel threatened by him. He not only led a mob there, but his boisterous lies. And I'll tell you another thing he said outside there. He was saying, save your...
Enough of that fool. The scary black man joins us right now, Congressman Jamaal Bowman. Boy, you just scared. Wait, isn't this the same person who literally was verbally attacking members of Congress when she showed up in D.C.?
Verbally attacking members of Congress, taking pictures with an AR-15 with my sisters from the squad behind her in the picture, stalking and chastising the young man, David Haig, who leads the March for Our Lives movement, stalking AOC at her congressional office. Yeah, this is her. And now all of a sudden, she's intimidated by me. And, what does she say? My physical mannerisms are aggressive. But Roland, this is an old school playbook. But this is an old school playbook that's very dangerous and reckless and leads to the targeting and killing of black men throughout history, whether it's Emmett Till or Tamir Rice or Mike Brown. Once a white person says they feared for their lives, that's it. Now they have clearance to kill a black person simply because they're black. So that's why I respond very, very assertively today, just calling it out for what it was. And she needs to be held accountable. She needs to be asked very directly by journalists, do you want to see harm done to Congressman Bowman? That's what she needs to be asked, and she needs to be held accountable for what she said.
Well, and again, this is somebody who has been loud, boisterous. And last I checked, isn't this the same dumbass who stood up in the State of the Union yelling, hollering, and pointing her finger at the President of the United States?
Yes, that's her. This has been her MO since she's gotten into Congress. Her MO has been aggressive confrontation with the Democratic Party and specifically towards members of the Democratic Party who are of color. If you watch my engagement today, it wasn't even aggressive. It was more gregarious and more of a friendly banter, if you will, where I was pretty much telling her, do something with your party. They should have expelled George Santos. Get your man out of here and save your party because y'all are hanging by a thread. She was the one who, if you look at the video, her hand was in my face and she was smiling the entire time. So she probably went to bed, slept on it, thought about it, and was like, you know what? If I say X, Y, and Z tomorrow, I could not just put a target on his back, but I could raise a lot of money from my base as a result of that. So that's who she is. That's who they are. QAnon, MAGA, conspiracy theory Republicans. And that's why we got to vote them out next year, vote the right people in so we can do some real governing.
Last point, and your point is obviously fundraising, but let's also be honest with what really happened here. They were defending a massive liar. And this is a liar,
Correct.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, defending a liar, George Santos. So a liar defending a liar.
A liar defending a liar, and that's why we have to speak truth to power, and we have to be relentless in our pushback, because if we don't, their lies will occupy the minds of the American people to the point where people will either come out and vote for that nonsense or stay home. And we can't have people staying home next year, not only when it comes to the presidency in the House, but we got to take a few more seats in the Senate. That's the only way we're going to get voting rights, gun control, women's right to choose, and everything we've been fighting for decades. We got to turn out strong in 2024.
Indeed, Congressman Jamaal Bowman, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I guess she wants you to walk around with a teddy bear in the halls of Congress because you're just too vocal.
Peace and love, y'all. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Lauren, look, this is a drama queen. She's also an idiot. That's what she is. And people have to understand. And again, when people, if you don't vote in your district and then a Republican wins, you empower someone like her. Remember, when Republicans were in the minority, she was stripped of her committees. She sat here and cut a deal with Kevin McCarthy. He has empowered this fool who has lots of power now that Republicans control the House.
Right. I mean, I think it's likely that, the Democrats, I think, have a pretty good shot with members like her around doing these types of stunts of getting the, House back in 2024. But you never know. The truth of the matter is that the Democratic Party needs more messengers like Jamaal Bowman. Jamaal Bowman is dangerous, all right. He's dangerous for people who are lying. He's dangerous for Byron Donalds. He's dangerous for Thomas Massey. He's dangerous for anybody who's just going to lie or ignore, school shootings where 9-year-olds are getting murdered, at their school. So, yeah, he's problematic because Jamaal Bowman is the lethal combination of assertiveness and intelligence. And when you have intelligence going up against people who are not very bright, they get exposed. And you'll notice that Marjorie Taylor Greene is at her angriest when she gets exposed by somebody who's clearly more smart, a lot smarter than she is, namely people like Congresswoman AOC, again from New York. She seems to have a thing for New Yorkers, by the way, if you notice. AOC, she stalked at her office and talked through the mail slat in AOC's door, which was one of the strangest events on Capitol Hill in a long time. She had a real obsession with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had done absolutely nothing to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wrote a piece for The Guardian, I think it was last year sometime. There was a legitimate and very persistent concern that one of 3 members of Congress was going to bring a firearm onto the floor of the House. And at the time, there were metal detectors up because Speaker Pelosi at the time had installed metal detectors. One of those 3 members were Lauren Boebert, Madison Cawthorn, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They were going to bring a firearm onto the floor of the House. That's where she stands. Another example,
right.
Just like Jim. No governance, no nothing, just stunts all day long. All day long.
Here's the deal here, Greg, that we have to understand, and that is, to Lauren's point, Republicans, they have their firebrands. They go out there, they yell, holler, scream, and whatever, but they also drive their base. Democrats like to be all nice and more gentle. No, sometimes you got to call folk out and light that ass up.
You're absolutely right, Roland. And, this is a hard one for me because I like Jamaal Bowman. Every time I've seen that brother, he's affable, he's good-natured. Byron Donalds, who's a huge clown, literally and figuratively. Even when he's clowning Byron Donalds, he got a smile on his face. But let me be very clear about this. And he said this on the steps of the Capitol in the wake of this woman doing what she did. She put a target on his back, man. She put a target on his back. She's weaponizing. God forbid anything happened to him. But this Ooh, it was right behind my teeth. I paused. So let me just say it another way. Marjorie Taylor Greene with her home gym, neighborhood gym look, and her WWF couture looking like Ric Flair on the floor of the national legislature with her arms out. God only knows what this beast does, roaming around with whoo in her mind. She put a target on that brother's back. Do you understand what it means when you say you're threatened by a black person? AOC, you say, Lauren, I mean, she don't wear a buck dripping wet, but even she came up behind him and said, bro, she's not worth it. She had a smile on her face because what she's signaling is kill him. I mean, it's all jokes aside. This goes back to even Abe Jones. We got to punch these crackers in the face. Oh, that came out of my mouth. It was right behind my teeth, and it came. Let me pause. We have to take very seriously the fact that they are weaponizing. It isn't just about voting, although it's about that. It isn't just about mobilizing. This is about deputizing every person in the country to say, harm this man. The nicest guy, like say, bright, but hey, if I take you down, it's because I feared for my. This is the I feared for my life rhetoric. We laughing, but let's take this very seriously. She put a target on Jamaal Bowman's back, and my response to that finally is this: we need to put a target on their backs, break their damn backs. What the hell is wrong with us? You can't make peace with these people. It was a reason I asked Representative Horsford about what you've learned from history. This is the 1850s. They're 5 seconds short from starting to cane people on the floor of the damn national legislature. They are ready to kill people. And in fact, they are killing people. And what are we doing? Trying to make nice. Hell no. Is it going to take somebody getting killed for us to finally say, let's dance?
Avis, folks better understand these Republicans, they are extremely dangerous because they are absolutely in bed with white supremacists. I got about 60 seconds to go.
Well, I just have to say amen to Dr. Carr. I mean, he was right on the money. And, you know, it's interesting. He calls her Ric Flair. I think of her as He-Man, but the situation is the same. Okay. She uses violent rhetoric all the time. And this was a very shrewd way of her to say, this big black man threatened me. And we know who she is speaking to. This is a party that appeals not only to white supremacists, but to violent white terrorists. And that's exactly who she was conjuring up with those comments.